So you were born the year that the Independence War
1971, yes.
ended.
No, it was going on there.
Okay, all right. So what was it like living in those times, like after the Independence
I
War?
was a newborn.
Yes.
I was born on that year. I can't remember. I mean, I remember going to school in 5 years. Everything was so nice, cool. Everything was okay as
Was
far
there
as I
any
can
like
remember.
political turmoil in the times that you were living in Bangladesh?
Even if there was, I wouldn't know.
Mhm.
But when I went to high school, college, that's when because because the memory was more
Yeah.
vivid then, right? So yeah, there's always political unrest, always, as far back as I can remember.
Okay. All right. Um. Why were the universities shut down in Bangladesh? When you were there, wasn't the university shut down?
Yes,
Yes.
again, the leading political party and the opposition got into fight, and it was so much so that for the safety of their students, because their students were involved in there too, because there's a student political party which is really damaging to their careers, and so yeah, so that's why for the safety of the students, the university had to shut down. The authority had to shut down the university because they were fighting, literally fighting.
What?
Mhm.
Okay. So do you
Because
remember the names
if
of the parties?
yes, um, uh, they are called. There's a one of them was a. Do I have to say the names of the parties?
You don't have to, but it would help a lot.
Just the current ruling government parties, they have this branch student party, and there was this opposition party, branch student opposition party, and those two were always in fight, always. I had so many times I had to wash my face with tear gas. I had to eat the tear gas. I had to face so many times I had to run with my sandals in my hand because there is this big mob coming. I mean, you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't even imagine. You wouldn't even know what it is. Why on earth two student group can fight? But we were in the midst of it. I was in uni. I remember one day my friend and I was supposed to go to have a cup of tea, and I think I went back home. I didn't feel good, and she stayed back with for a cup of tea with my other friends. And then in the meantime, two parties got into fight, and there was this shooting going on, and then she said that I was so scared I couldn't, there is this building and there is this cafe on the other side, so many cafes, one of the cafes, and she was hesitating, should I cross the road or not, because she wanted to go to the cafe. And then she felt a tug in her back, and someone with a big what do you call it, some sort of shotgun or something, said, what are you doing here? Don't you know there's a fight going on? Go home. One of the members from one of the political student party, whatever. So it was like that.
Oh, okay. So when did you decide that you wanted to move to the US and why? That's important. Why?
I met your dad.
Mhm.
I was a student. He was a student, and he decided.
Oh wait, sorry. Let me say that question again. What year did you decide to move to the US and why?
I moved to US in 1996. I got married in 1995, and your dad was living in USA, and he went back to get married. And then I got married in 1995, and then dad left for USA. I stayed back because I still had to finish my master's. I had my graduation. I wanted to move with him, but he said that no. Since you were almost done, why wasting it? So there were a few more months, and then I decided more for my mom, all my carers, my parents, guardians said that no, you stay back. I said okay, because in our country we couldn't override. It's not our life, is not our life. We valued the experience. So I listened to my mom. listen to my uncle, aunties, all my grandpa. They said, "Oh, finish it. You are nearly there." I thought, yeah, whatever they think best. Okay, so I stayed back. I was doing my masters, and then after 8 months, I joined your dad. It was 1996, 16th of May. I reached USA.
What was it like for you in the US as a Muslim immigrant woman?
When I reached USA, it was heaven. It was no one think of anything of this hijab. Occasionally they would ask questions, but honestly, to be honest, what you see America in media is nothing in real. People are so nice. I had nice colleagues, I had nice neighbors, I have nice, even the maintenance worker. I mean, people are so nice. Yes, it did change after 9/11 because people started to know what is Islam, what is extremist, and all those kind of that changed a lot. But when I was there, to be honest, people were so friendly. I found, and people are honestly so friendly. I saw a gentleman pushing someone else's truck with a tie on, suited with it, because someone's truck just stopped in the middle of the road. They would do that. And once I remember, well, it was heavily snowing, and one of our tire, Baba and I was driving to Oklahoma because that was his school town. We came for a break in Dallas one weekend, and Meg was 7 months, and then our car broke down in the middle of a highway, and it was snowing. At least 7 cars stopped. Do you need help? You have a baby in the car. Can I do something for you? Because back then there was no mobile. Yeah. And so at least 7 car. I counted 7 car. Can I have the baby? We have our car is more warm. So do you wanna go? I said no. I'm fine. Okay, thank you. Because someone already took Baba to the next petrol pump to get some help. Yeah. So people are so friendly there. I don't know how it is now, but I had a very good life in USA.
What were the struggles that you faced moving to the US, like the culture shock, the
Culture never shocked me because I am I think myself is a very strong lady because in Bangladesh we were adapted to so many different situations, like um, yes, once I was middle class, then I was well enough, and then we went back to lower than middle class. To be honest, I can adopt very easily, alhamdulillah. I mean, with the grace of Almighty. And then it no, because we seen so many movies and everything, culture didn't shock me there. The biggest part, biggest what was your question again? The main what was the
okay, what was the biggest struggle?
struggle was financial struggle. We didn't have any money. Dad was a student, and a student's wife couldn't work legally. No, that was a no. You can't. So what happened is, it felt very bad seeing your dad working so hard. So I thought, what can I do? What can I do? So I realized that people are working, students' wives, but they're not saying it. So and then there are some stores, they are taking that opportunity. Yeah, they are letting people like us working but in very low pay. I agreed. So I started working when my salary was $4.50. Yes, and then in my years of life it reached up to $6. Yes, and then yeah, I felt so lucky because I managed to get a job in a laundry where people will dump clothes, and I have to categorize them into um, dry clean or machine wash. And with machine wash, would it be light starch, medium starch, heavy starch? Because American people are so picky about their clothes. They don't need magnifying glass to find a spot. They can find it. Yes, they do. Yes, and that was the day thing that I was doing whole day. And one example, should I give him one example? I picked one shirt. You had to. There was a shooter that there was a bunch of tickets. You tier one ticket from tag ticket, and you hold the tail of the shirt, or if it has a tag, the tag of the shirt, you carefully tag it with the shooter. And doing it day after day after day after day after day, both my fingers were like prickled, and I couldn't feel it for many years. Yes. And then I remember that when we were doing a security check when we applied for Australian immigration, and because day after day I touched clothes, my fingers wouldn't have fingerprint. I had to go 3-4 times to do the fingerprints, because if you touch clothes 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, the print is gone. So anyway, that's a different story. That was yeah.
What was um what was racism like before 9/11? So don't mention 9/11 yet, but talk about how racism just was in general before 9/11. So wait. What was racism like before 9/11?
As I said, I lived in Dallas. Yeah, this is such a nice town, such a nice county. They say county. This look, if I talk to if I am talking about my colleagues, all of them were nice. All of them. If I talk about my neighbors, all of them were nice. The maintenance guy, I still remember his name, Steve. He was nice. I did personally. I didn't face any racism. Yes, when dad used to go to a uni, which is in Oklahoma, that is more country like, you know. Over there, when we went to grocery store, there were one or two old ladies who would be like, you know. But other than that, I really didn't feel any major, what do you call it, racism thing. You know, not major.
Okay. Now, are you comfortable talking about 9/11?
Yeah, yeah.
That was really okay.
No. As I said, I have a very strong nerve.
What happened on 9/11? Like, what happened? Okay. What were the impacts of 9/11 on you?
On me. Okay. After the day 9/11 happened, I remember that I was at the doctor, and we thought that America is under attack. So dad called me from work. He said, go home, shut all the doors, windows, just get ready, have Mehek ready, like your sister ready, and just go home. So I rushed back home, and then I saw it in the TV what happened. I saw the second tower fell live. Yes. I was just stunned on that day. After that, it's just a sheer fear just grasped me. I mean, like, I couldn't go outside. I couldn't go to the grocery. I couldn't. Back then I used to work in back then they used to print photos. I used to work in a photo lab, print photos. I called the manager in, because whenever I stepped outside, people started to look at my scarf. Okay, so this is a Muslim, and there was this one Sheikh guy, Sheikh Indian guys who wears turban. That gentleman was shot dead. He was working in a general store, because people thought that he was Muslim, because they don't have enough knowledge to understand. And every time I step out for work, every moment I felt like there will be shooting from my back. I'll get shot. I mean, and then I resigned. But then your dad said, you know what, you don't have to live with this fear. Then I resigned. I said, no, I can't work because my baby's. I didn't say. So I just that was the personal effect on me, and everything changed. Economy dropped as in like dropped. Dad was sacked, laid off. Yes, and he applied
because he was Muslim.
No, not because he was Muslim. The economy dropped, like what do you call it? Inflation. And companies were, laying off employees. Dad used to work in a call center. Back then, everything was, the internet, DSL, everything was so booming. And Dad was working in a Hewlett Packard call center, doing good. And he was 2000 December, he did his graduation. We were about to step into a new life, which is a professional life. That's at that moment that, in this 1 year, it happened. So Dad applied and applied, and being a Mohammed, the first name, no one called him. No one. So what happened is that was another downfall in his career. He went back to petrol pump or job, and that was very depressing for him because he was about to, get into a professional life, but then that happened. And yeah, and it was a bit depressing, but then we pulled through. We pulled through. Yes.
What was your motivation to move to Australia?
Okay, so after 9/11, Dad tried to get a professional job for so long, but it wasn't happening because economy was totally upside down here. No one was hiring, especially with that name. And then there was this rule that um, wherever you go, they was checking and everything. It was too much for foreigners like us. So that's when Dad decided maybe we should move. We should move. Then we applied for Canada, and both countries invited us in skilled migration because your dad had this accounting and what do you call it, computer information system degree. And they invited him here, they invited him over there. I wanted to go to Canada, but yeah, it's too cold, the extreme weather, and also for first few years they would send us to remote areas like in deep, not deep, like Vancouver or all those, even colder areas. So Dad said, no, no, my kids will get sick. By that time, Achan was about to born, and so we decided now with these small kids, no. So yeah, that's how we ended up in here.
How was Australia better than the US in terms of work, education, and discrimination?
Can I be honest here? I faced discrimination here than else America. To be honest, I faced in the train, in the mall. Yes, I did. Let's not go into the like. I did face it. To be honest, America, they do mind their own business. Normal people, they don't have time. To be honest, here people do have time to look into and be snobbish, and pass remarks. And to be honest, no, no, no. I'm
No,
being
yeah, I know
honest.
what you mean. Yeah.
In terms of jobs, I would say if you are qualified, you will get it. Dad got job with the grace of Almighty within 2-3 months. He did because he had this American experience and everything. In terms of fun and recreation and availability of things, definitely America is much better. Even in 2 o'clock at night, I never like one example is when your brother was small, right? He was still infant, right? So I never thought that stores will be closed. So at 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the morning, when 12 a.m. in the morning, that was the first week of when I found out that the milk is gone. I took my keys and I thought maybe I told your dad that let's go buy milk. They said this is not America. No store is open now. You should change your habit because in my mind, okay, I can go buy. In my American life, I never had to remember what do I have in the fridge, what not. Whenever I want to step out, there'll be something of it. That one thing shocked me. And one day he had fever. Your brother has fever, and I thought, okay, it's all of a sudden. I thought, okay, a pharmacy. At least pharmacy is open. There's not a single pharmacy open in that Bankstown, Lakemba region, and I just had to sit next to him and pray. That was the real shocker. That was the real shock for me. That the availability of things. But then I got used to it. I learned to make list, shopping list, to be proactive. Yes.
How's it like raising Mehek, Achan, and me eventually in those conditions?
I have to be honest again, much better here than America. Yep. Because over there, your sister was going to kindy, pre-K, right? I never let her out of my sight because I know abduction is nothing. There is just every day, every day at least one incident. But here I could. I observed other people. I could let her walk from bus stop to home. Yeah. Yeah. I think we like took better decision to come here to raise you guys. Raising kids here, much more peaceful here. As a mom, you have the content of, the content of mind that, okay, my kids are coming home. At least, yes, there is always an accident, but at least you are not always in fear. I was in fear there. I never let her out of my sight, even for 1 second. Now, the bus would stop. I could see from the balcony. I said, no, I would get on the balcony now. No, it's much better here in terms of raising kids, in terms of having a laid back life. Yes, I understand. Maybe the mall is not open until 1, but much peaceful here.
Okay, just going back to the skilled migrant thing. How did you apply for a visa to come here? Did you meet the requirements?
It's actually one person. It's your Baba. He met all the requirements, all the point system that if you are under food, I don't know, age point, something like that. Back then, and then if you have this degree, that the Australian government has certain requirements. Like I think his educational requirement was in accounting and computer information system and all those areas. Yeah.
That was very sweet, actually. How long was that? Because alhamdulillah, I think I have
21 minutes.
21? I think maybe I might have enough. Because it's supposed to be 5 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.